What's happening, Andy? Here I am joined today by Tami Beach of HP. How are you? Good morning, Tami.
Good morning, Andy. How are you?
I am great. What's happening? It's good to see you. It is right around the corner from Christmas holiday. It's probably one of my last, if not my last interview. I thought we would wrap up the year and just check in and see how our favorite HPer is doing. So you are you in Boise today?
I am in Boise today, and I was half expecting you to see you show up in a Santa hat instead of your iconic baseball cap.
Well,
Do you ever change that up?
I do change it up. If I wasn't so lazy, I probably would have worn it. I've worn it in the past, but it is still in a box and I haven't gotten it out yet. So we're gonna go with our old standard, but I do have the tree. I've got the my menorahs are all up and so we're covering most of our bases here. Um, you had a busy year. You guys had a hugely busy year. You were everywhere. I saw you all over the place. I thought we would just spend a few minutes, maybe just go over some highlights and tell us about your year and what you guys did at HP and what you were happy about.
Yeah. Well, we had a great year. First, we were able to break through our backlog at the beginning of the year, so that was great. And we had really amazing growth over the course of the year, and a lot of the backlog actually hit our Q4. And so a little bit into Q1 as we kind of shipped through, I think, more A4 in the January timeframe. But most of the growth that we saw was not just backlog being pushed through, but was based on the baseline of backlog being pushed through. So it was really great to see. I think we've got a ton of momentum with partners. We, really have killed a lot of our metrics and milestones year over year that we're tracking. We had some great visits, not just at the events, but also we went out and did some road shows. We toured some people around from our worldwide organization as well. We heard great things from partners. It feels like, despite some of the still difficult to do business with comments, that most partners were really on our side and really wanting us to win and just asking us to get out of our own way. And then I think we've made some progress on doing that. So excited to talk about that too.
Well, you definitely have made progress in the last, I would say 2, 3 years, 4 years. I mean, you look at the top five, top 10 dealers, and pretty much every one of them, almost every one of them, we were talking earlier, is carrying you Dex and Flex and Visual Edge, Marco, POA, all these guys. They all picked you up. It's a critical brand to their success. It's not it fits right in there with with what they're trying to accomplish. It's brand awareness too, right? I mean, it's you guys are still synonymous with the word print in many circles. So let's get specific. You did an Amplify update recently. We don't have to get too into that. I did a nice interview with Mary Beth Walker recently on that, and we covered that. So we don't need to get too into that. But let's talk about some of the things you specifically worked on and the progress that you made in your group this year.
Yeah, that's great. Mary Beth is awesome. I'm glad you were able to do that. So yeah, we really are trying to focus on kind of just getting back to having some more refined or more precision around our programs with this channel. Amplify is a great program, as Mary Beth, I'm sure, shared with you. And it's a global program for all of our channel partners. And some of the challenges that come with that is that sometimes then some of the uniquenesses that we need to put in place to better manage our relationships with unique channels gets a little bit diluted in those big global programs. And so this year we have been able to sort of swing that pendulum back to having a little bit more market control and more control within our channels to help define those relationships and drive those businesses. So what dealers will be seeing this year is a more simplified program for them. Hopefully, more ease of engaging with that program in terms of operationally, and the reporting is still required, but hopefully they're seeing some improvements to how that's being done. And we're really, really trying to focus on the incentive package and making that easier to engage with, easier to understand, less complex, and really reward for growth and volume. So those are the things that we're focusing on programmatically.
So the incentive program, let's get into that a little bit deeper. Tell me more about that. Is that for an incentive for the dealer to pick up HP? Do you have incentives for the reps to sell the equipment at the field level? Where are the incentives being pushed out?
Both. So, we have pricing programs for volume. We have back end rebates to once they hit milestones, and drive the growth that we're asking for that are richer. We have sales spiffs for sales reps to engage with us. Of course, we always have training, and then my team of partner business managers that are always available to help support. We have, for big deal requests, we have some incremental funding to support those as well this year. So I think we're trying to hit on all things, whether it's upfront pricing, back end rebate, incentives for growth, sales reps, big deals, lots of levers that we can pull on to help dealers be successful.
So one question I thought I'd ask you, and I think it's a good one, right? HP is a little bit of a different company than these guys have worked with in the past. It's just the A3 manufacturers are what is established their companies, right? But coming from the HP side, and especially your role for the last couple of years, what's a couple things maybe you think are unique about this channel, maybe that the rest of HP doesn't always know, and some things that you've learned and you've been trying to communicate to the people at HP? What are some things you've learned, and tell us about what HP sees as through your eyes at this channel?
Yeah, well, I mean, first, of course, their customer relationships. The deep intelligence that they have about their customer. We really, through Amplify, we think that data is the future. We have to have data. We have to operate based on data, or we're going to be left behind. And what I think that has been interesting is that a lot of our channel partners don't have data and intelligence. I think this channel does. They do have, and maybe it doesn't come in the form of a fancy data stream and report. It comes in the form of the very deep relationships and intimate relationships that they have with their customers. And so I think that there's a growing awareness of even though we can provide some data back and provide some predictive analytics for dealers to make better choices and to identify opportunities where customers are in a position to be ready to buy, I think that's super helpful, and I don't see that a lot in the industry. But these dealers know their customers for sure. I think that comes from that ongoing service relationship, that reoccurring service relationship. HP still very much lives in a world of transaction. That's how we built our business. That is still the core driver of our business. But as you've seen HP do as well, we've tried to expand, or we are working on, and doing successfully in a lot of different ways, driving more services business for our direct customers, but also for our consumers, and for capabilities that we're enabling our channel partners to also resell from us. So I think that service mentality, that ongoing kind of continuous connection to a customer through an ongoing contract relationship, that is something that I think these dealers do really well, and that that HP is also trying to help them do, and also do more of.
So if we look at HP over the year, and I think your progress has been amazing in the last couple of years. I mean, it's just, I've been, if you saw my video, I did an end of the year recap of all the places I went, and there were a lot of them, and there were a lot of HPs, a lot of, most dealers carry it. It's at one level or another. They either carry it or they tell customers they can, get it, right? I mean, they can all source it. But when we look at, you trying to, it's not a whole lot different than shelf space in a store, right? You're muscling in, and it was one thing when you guys were the A4 brand and you had the A3 brand, right? And that was fine. You could live together. You didn't step on each other's toes too much. But now you have an A3 brand. So you're starting to step on toes a little bit with that. And on top of that, this convergence of technologies, or really more of a shift that we've seen over the years that has just sped up over the last year or two or three. People are moving from A3 to A4 because A4s are just very capable. So, where do you see HP playing that going forward? How do you buy? It's not, now you can't just say, look, we'll be your A4 vendor, they'll be your A3 vendor. You're all fighting for the shelf space. So what do you guys say to the dealers now? How are you aligning yourself with their futures, and what are you doing to essentially buy that shelf space in the dealers?
Well, so I think that it starts with the fact that we have our best print portfolio really ever, in terms of both A3 and A4. And so we really have moved from just an A4 provider to a solid A3 provider. I think a lot of dealers would agree with that with the recent release of our A3 product. Has that been over a year ago now? And
Wow.
so yeah, so we do recognize that we really needed to bring not only that full portfolio of A3 and A4, but also that managed portfolio, right? Because we do have such a big transactional business, and that transactional business operates differently, and they sell differently, and they post pricing differently, and they run different promotions. And in order to not conflict with that, and also in order to deliver a better operating costs so dealers can make money and customers can afford a cost per page from HP. Those are things that we have really focused on building out in our portfolio over the last several years. And I think we're really getting there. And we'll continue to do that, because for us, really the growth opportunity, we see growth in pockets. So A4, we see growth, especially in color. Even for us as the market share leader, we still see some really good growth opportunities, and A3 actually is growing as well. Not in the mono space, but in color, we're seeing some growth in A3. So that's pretty exciting. And I think we're very uniquely positioned to win in color and to win in this idea that you do have to have kind of that A3, A4 offer. I think we're best positioned for that. But then there's also so much more to HP than just our print portfolio. And our print portfolio is so much more than just A3 and A4. I mean, of course, we range from consumer products all the way to the big floor standing enterprise products. We have, so we can cover that gamut in a hybrid model of, whatever a customer may need from a footprint perspective or a cost perspective, we can fit that need. But we also have, our wide format and our packaging and 3D. So we've got a wide variety of opportunities throughout print that's just not office print, that we love to talk to dealers about. Of course, we have a very, very big and leading PC portfolio. We have Poly, and how exciting is that too? Because not only accessories, but also how about conference rooms as a service. So those are areas that I think as partners look to expand and diversify their businesses, there's no better partner than HP to help them do that. So I really think that the next phase here is really understanding how we do bring some of those other portfolio areas that we have from HP into this channel and offer them some expansion opportunities.
Well, diversification is awesome. Like that's a message that everybody's pushing at these dealers. The dealers all know that, they have to look at other things, and that's because print volumes are, in general going down. Some dealers are doing better than others, and some are seeing increases, and you guys are seeing growth, like you said. Honestly, when you're seeing growth, when you're seeing expansion in the dealers, that's not because we're growing as a market. That's coming at somebody else's expense. So kudos to you guys. That's when you grab that shelf space, that's a big deal, and somebody's losing when you guys win. So we are seeing a shift, and it's been kind of fun to watch that. But I have always looked at the other products when I come to those HP events and Palo Alto, Boise, and I do think I've always thought there's opportunity. All the stuff should be sold by the channel, right? And
Yeah.
you have done a good job over the years of bringing more, like the wide formats made its way in. Some of the Indigo products are sold by dealers now. The laptops are obviously a huge opportunity. By the way, Jake would love a test model of a gamer. If you had some extras laying around, I was told to
I'll jot
mention
that
that to
down.
you. But you guys, and you're a dominant player in that area too, gaming. That's not something that we don't even cover. I mean, HP's just got stuff in every area, and a lot of it are things that dealers can bring in. But part of that is on your end and packaging that in a way that they can bring that into their dealerships, into their portfolios. So, but moving ahead with the diversification of dealers, clearly a direction that they're going. And companies that have more to offer you and a lot of their other partners, some of the ones that only offer print, it's going to be challenging for them going forward. But the ones that, say, we can bundle things, we can offer you a whole portfolio of products that you can go in and set your company. Like, you're one of those rare companies who can go in and set up a new business, soup to nuts, every part about it, monitors, desktops, right? Storage, communication, right?
Rooms,
Almost
yeah.
every part of that business can be covered, through somebody selling HP products. So you're in a unique position. It's fun to watch. You guys have really made a lot of progress in the last year or two. So thank you for sharing that. It's been fun catching up. So you're going to be at ECS, right? If we don't talk about ECS, Mike Stramayo is gonna have a heart attack, I think. But we have to talk about it because it's coming right up. It's next month, and it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be in Arizona. We have snow on the ground here, by the way, in Rochester. So I'm very excited to go to Arizona and play some golf. You will be there?
I will be there. I'm really looking forward to it. I'll be there.
You're
I'm
speaking?
going to be on a panel. So
What's
that's
your
going to be
panel on?
fun. The panel is on AI. So lots of really great people that'll be on that panel. And I don't West and Michael are putting it together, so they'll be and I don't know who exactly is moderating versus who might be on the panel. I think West might be on the panel and Michael, I don't know. Anyway, I'm super excited for that. And that will be a great opportunity. That's a space that I love.
Well, it's funny you say, because last year you did a presentation on AI and you talked about ChatGPT, and I remember it. And I think it was so early in the whole AI story, right? And I don't think people realized what a big deal that was. But a couple of weeks later, Mike put out this email saying, "Hey, this AI stuff that everyone's talking about, Tami did this whole presentation from HP at our event. Look how, but seriously, like out in front of it, talking about it before everybody else was talking about it. And so now you're going to be on this panel, and that'll be very exciting. So."
Yeah, and I would say, my early exposure to it came from teaching. And I had been, I teach at Boise State, a marketing class. And that fall, it was December, that I was grading papers, and they were just something different about them. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. So I was thinking I just must have become just that much better of a teacher.
Yeah.
So I chalked it up to that. After I, got into the break and started looking at some stuff and reading some things, I discovered very quickly that ChatGPT had just been launched in November. And so students picked right up on it.
Yeah. Everything was a revolutionary, ever a revolutionary paper.
Yeah, exactly. So by the time I got to ECS, it was super fresh. And, I remember thinking, and at the time then too, when I got to ECS, education was really blowing up about it because it was really starting to become, really prevalent. Students were using it and really felt like they didn't know how to use it correctly. And so there was a lot of dialogue about it in education. And so I had to kind of really sit and think about what are my feelings about it from an IT professional perspective and an educator perspective, kind of two different things. But I felt very strong about adopting it quickly, talking to my students about it, helping them learn how to use it in productive ways. And so it was a lot of fun. So.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And as we wind down, we have some big news that we're going to share now, aren't we?
Yes.
So congratulations are in order.
Well, before we get to that one, there's two. I forgot to mention I was talking about some of the November 1 changes, not only to the program, but also to the organizational structure. So we made a really, really big decision in November to move some end user sales reps out of our end user sales team into my organization. So as many of your viewers will know, my organization is made up of partner business managers, and my team is responsible for really, managing the relationship and growing the business with our dealers. And then we have always had this end user sales team out there as well. And in some cases they work with our channel partners, and in some cases they go direct. And there's this space in the, underneath the enterprise customer, this commercial or mid-market space that we call it, that there was maybe more conflict than we needed to have, and there was more limitations. We just weren't set up in a way to really take advantage of that mid-market space. It still makes sense for HP at the top enterprise customer over, 1,000, 2,000 seats, for us to have direct relationships with customers. A lot of those, customers will have unique needs or global needs that we need to fulfill for them. So that will remain in place. And those sellers and our partners may still work together, right? But our partners are definitely going to still continue to see us going direct in that enterprise space. Below that, though, is all channel. And all of those end user sales reps are still working on building relationships and opportunities with end users, but all fulfillment will go through the channel. All deals will go through the channel in that space. And so that's a really meaningful change for us. I think partners would tell me that, well, one day I might be working with this rep and they might be working with me on a deal. And then the next day they might be working on another deal direct, and that makes me feel uncomfortable. So we wanted to minimize that. We also, changed comp plans in a way that they are comped on the same thing that my partner managers are. And so there's full alignment in what their incentives are, and so they will be engaging with this channel. And we also changed, how we think about, which end users they can work with. We do have a specific list, and we've always kind of maintained that list of customers that we work with direct, and reps have been pretty limited to that list. Now they have the opportunity to go and generate demand, not only through HP marketing and HP demand generation activities and new sales tools that we're putting in their hands to generate new demand, but they can also sit down and work with channel partners on their customer lists, and where HP can help to get deals across the finish line or get deals started with new conversations. So I'm super, super excited going into next year about this model. We're already seeing great conversations happening, great engagement and collaboration happening. And I think that we're going to generate a whole bunch of new demand. And I'm excited for partners to be able to experience that with us.
That's actually the big announcement of this whole interview. We probably should have talked about that earlier.
Buried the lead here, didn't we?
Yeah, that's kind of so people who miss out, they don't listen to the end. This is what happens. So that's quite a shift for you guys, really, right? And so now, dealers won't have to have was it a random person they were dealing with? It would just be one of a pool, right? And now they're going to have a dedicated team, right? Am I understanding that right?
So there was, what the way the org worked before is I have a colleague, her name is Sandy Waller, and she managed the direct sales team for print, and she had both enterprise and commercial reps. So they went, from the very largest global customers into the mid-market space, into that 1,000-seat, 500-seat. They didn't really get below that, but and so the perception of conflict is probably much bigger than the reality. But she had district teams the same way as my teams are set up, and so my team, the teams would try and work together, but that was always a little bit complicated for the reasons that I mentioned. Yeah. So now those teams are all going to fold up under my managers. So the managers that have, Tim Baker and John Whidden and Pete Stanger and Lori Welch, that lead my partner manager, now have two parts of their teams. They have the partner team and they have the field or the end user team. And that end user team consists of both field reps and inside reps. And so, yeah, I would say that there's a much tighter organizational structure, and trying to drive more of a one-to-one relationship, PBM, inside rep, field rep, right? Let's go talk to these partners. And they're kind of going out in that way. That doesn't mean that they might not see other end user reps as they identify opportunities that make sense for this partner or that partner, or that, So all of those kind of engagement and roles and responsibilities and all of that stuff is being worked through right now. But we started November 1 in the new org. We're already introducing this new team to our partners and our partners to this team. And so So yeah, things will continue to refine how this works as we go forward, but so far it's exciting to see.
That is very exciting. So it's busy. It's going to be fun to watch that roll out over the next year, and I look forward to hearing how that's going. Probably not from you though, because now we're going to get to the part I was going to ask you about earlier. So tell us about what you are going to be doing in 2024.
Yeah. So a real true bittersweet moment for me. I have been lucky enough to get an opportunity to step up here at HP, and I'm going to be taking on the role of Vice President of U.S. Consumer Sales, Channel Sales. And so this is, thank you, Andy. This is managing, a team of people that works with, Staples, Amazon, Costco, Walmart, Best Buy, a whole new list of partners that I'll get to work with, different categories of products. So I'll have not just print, but I'll have PC and poly, peripherals, all of the things that you might see as a consumer in those retail channel partners being sold from HP. So we'll have all of that category and all of those partner relationships. So it's a huge and great opportunity for me to continue to grow my career at HP. HP really values letting our employees do that. But it is bittersweet because I have loved this work. I really have. I feel like I have a really phenomenal team out there, and I have really, really enjoyed working with these partners. As hard on me as some may be, I have really loved getting to know them and understanding their businesses, and really, it's been fun and it's been a challenge, right? Because HP has not had the relationship in this channel that we have with other types of channels. And so it's really been a great, challenge for me to build loyalty, to build trust, to build HP awareness. And I've tried to be intentional about that. I hope that that's worked. I hope that, I'm leaving things in a good way for my successor, who, by the way, has not been selected or announced yet. So stay tuned for that. But that will be coming soon, right after the first of the year, I expect.
Well, that's just awesome. Congratulations. It's exciting for you. And, we talked a little bit before we came on the recording. And it'll be interesting to see what you take from this position and this experience. And maybe in your new role, you look back and say, wow, the dealer channel might really thrive with some of the products and services that you're going to find in your new world. So
Yeah.
exciting for you. And, one piece of advice, and we talked about it again earlier, but I'll say it out for everyone to see at HP. You really did become the face of this HP channel. You were the person everybody thought of when you said HP. You showed up. You were at everywhere this year in the last couple of years, and presenting at ECS and at some of the dealer peer group shows, and we crossed paths many times at the BTA shows. So whoever that successor is, I think those last couple of years, having a recognizable person that when somebody says Tami from HP, everybody knew who that was, and that's something you haven't always had in the past, and I think that was really valuable for your partners, for people covering HP, and I would imagine for HP as well. So congratulations. We're going to miss working with you, and have a great holiday, and thanks so much for coming on the show today. I'll leave you for one last goodbye on the show.
All right. Well, thank you, Andy. It really warms my heart to hear that. And I will miss everyone, but I do, if you'll have me back, I'd love to come back for updates. And like you said, see if we can identify some areas of opportunity between my old world and new world. And please, I hope everybody has just a really, really wonderful holiday season. Take some time off to enjoy it and enjoy their families. I don't know if I know I've talked about it a lot, but I don't know if I've told you that I'm going to be a grandmother in February.
Congratulations.
So I'm super excited about that, and just lots of great things to come. So I hope to be talking to you again soon.
Well, great seeing you, Tami, and we will see you at ECS, and good luck on that panel. I look forward to it, and have a great Christmas, great holiday season, Happy New Year, and we'll see you on the other side. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.